News 8 Now Sports is brought to you from the Brennigan Auto Group Sports Desk. Welcome to the News 8 Now Highlight Zone.
Yes, welcome to the News 8 Now Highlight Zone. I'm Ken Kozarowski.
And I'm Alec Giannakopoulos.
Well, we have arrived at week 2 of this 7-week regular season. Looking ahead, next week will be the opening week for Minnesota high school football games, so we're excited to bring them into the fold. But for now, it's all Wisconsin this evening.
And we start this evening with Onalaska football coming off a 26-point win at Tomah last week. And I can tell you firsthand, Ken, that Hilltopper offense looked really good. Larson completed 80% of his passes, and the carousel of running backs put over 240 yards.
Yeah, well, tonight is an interesting matchup for them. They've got D7 powerhouse Edgar, who Coach Yashinsky says Onalaska has never played them before. And Edgar's been to the D7 state title game 3 of the last 4 years as we head to Onalaska. First game of the drive, Hilltoppers need to convert on third, and this strike to Landon Peterson does it, but Anna falls short in the red zone. Next quarter, Edgar punching it up with Kyle Brewster when Dane Woods forces the fumble and then fights his way to recover it, though we remain scoreless in the second. As Onalaska had some fumbling problems of their own. Michael Saverin here loses this one on a cut, and the score is still at 0. Now that's until Brewster just crosses the goal line for the Wildcats' first score. That makes it 6-0 in the third. On the next drive, trying to respond, Peterson makes a few miss on the run outside for a 20-plus yard gain, but they would turn it over, and Edgar would capitalize. Brewster with his second score of the day, this time on a run to the outside to give the Wildcats a 12-0 lead. Hilltoppers would get a score late, but this one is a little bit too late for Onalaska. Edgar gets the 12-7 upset win. So it's hard to believe, but that was it for the MVC tonight because of COVID-19. Now, Tomah was supposed to play against Darlington, but Darlington had to shut down for the next 2 weeks. But Tomah is really just the latest MVC school to be disrupted so far. Now, half the Cooley Conference, meanwhile, is playing fall football, including Alec, Aquinas, and Viroqua.
That's right. Viroqua won to a tough Mauston team last Friday, while this is the Blue Girls' opening game.
And the player to watch tonight, Aquinas quarterback Jackson Flopmeyer. He was just over 6 feet and 160 pounds last year as a freshman. Coming in now, 6'5" and 210. You think he's ready for some football?
Well, if you don't believe it, the video will certainly show that as well. Let's see that Blackhawk senior night. Blue Girls take the ball first, and as you mentioned, Flopmeyer with the teardrop right into Mikowski's hands. Viroqua would mishandle the ensuing kickoff, giving Aquinas great field position. Will Cambio rips through the middle of the field on his way to a score. Blue Gold's up 12. Not even a minute has elapsed in this game just yet. Flopmeyer continues to lay it on. Jack Eggermeyer grabs a screen and takes it 26 yards for another score. Now, the Blackhawks were able to find their stride late in the second. A long drive capped off by an Ethan Solerberg rolling and hitting Aaron Dobbs, who crosses the goal line, but that gets killed quick. Cambio fields the kickoff. Not a pretty fielding here, but he makes it way more attractive as this one goes on, making men miss all the way down the field. He brings this one all the way to the house, and they run away with this one. 48-13 your final. Cambio with 127 rushing yards for Aquinas.
Yeah, that's 86 yards on that score. Now to the mega conference in the South. Ithaca with their season opener at Highland. First half, Highland with third down, and Ithaca won't let him convert it. Jacob Manning with big-time sack. Now Highland up a score, but Ithaca's Jed Scallon wants to change that to the second level, and gone for a big Bulldog touchdown. Bulldogs did trail by 14 at the half, however, and it would stay that way, 28-14. Luther shut out at River Ridge, but Lincoln, an 8-man, wins at Bruce.
Well, a new conference joins the fold. Coming up, we celebrate the return of the Dairyland Conference. We'll take you to every matchup. You're watching the News 8 Now Highlight Zone. Welcome back to the News 8 Now Highlight Zone.
You know, Alec, we've been seeing some conference approaches, do we play in the fall or do we play in the spring thing? Kind of a few different ways so far. It's been individual school decisions for the most part, but the Dairyland Conference was one of the few to be completely unified with a plan back in July.
And all coaches I talked to love that. They said that Dairyland decided to unite and try to play this fall, uniting fans to four people per player rather, and pushing the season back a week.
So now they're in full swing tonight, and the defending champion BlairTaylor Wildcats, they're visiting rival Whitehall tonight, and we asked you today at 6 who will win this matchup. Well, it looks like the majority of you went with the defending champions. Makes sense. Almost all their skill positions are back in this one for this roster. Really good roster full of just big-time playmakers. Now, the Wildcats were actually up on the Whitehall Norse 12-6 entering the second half. Whitehall's on their side of the field. The give is to Jonathan Thorne, and he's a thorn in BlairTaylor's side on this play. Some open field before bouncing off a couple of tacklers. Gets some extra yards after contact. This is almost 50 yards on one play, but Whitehall would punt it away eventually. BlairTaylor's defense was strong in the second half. A bad handoff leads to a fumble recovery. So they're threatening in the fourth. Kane Fremstad hits Alec Reisman on a crossing route to get to the 2-yard line. Then Reisman takes it in on the keeper. This one puts the Wildcats up 18-6 in the fourth. Whitehall made it close, but BlairTaylor hangs on to keep all you voters right. Now let's check in with Oliva Strum, who tied for second in the Dairyland a year ago.
That's a good reason to be confident this year, because this is their second year with their current offensive scheme. Now in year one, they had 1,600 rushing yards and 20 points a game. So with more comfort in year two, the offense says they'll be able to do even more.
Yeah, the only obstacle, according to the quarterback Nick Higley, is numbers.
It's manageable, but we got a couple of our better athletes that didn't come out this year, just for other reasons. But you know, last year we had more guys. Like we had a lot more ability to substitute than this year. You know, we only have 10, 11 guys that are our best players. You know, that help us the most on the field.
With that in mind, let's see how they did in Independence with Barry Schmidt back at the helm. Indy driving, Chris Killian throws it across the middle, and a bit of a hot potato here in the cold night, ending up in the hands of the wide receiver. Indies will then punch it in with a Killian keeper. They'd get the 2-point conversion. Oliva Strum defensive turned itself right before the half, keeping a couple sacks to keep the Wildcats out of the end zone and keep it one score at half. But the Indies won this one 22-0. That snaps a 12-game losing streak.
Big night for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the thorn in Oliva Strum's side as last year was Pepin Alma.
That's right, and the Eagles could be a thorn for many this fall. They return more than a dozen starters from a year ago, including their backfield of Jordan Pearson, Lane Wichorek, and Bryce Quinton, who combined for 2,500 yards.
I think we really just could pound the ball 4 yards every play, especially with the linemen we had last year, and we have a lot of returning linemen. We just want to do that again this year, and it can go to any of us back there, and they never know which one's going to get it, and we all can do damage.
Well, that run attack would definitely try to do some damage at Melrose Mindoro tonight. Second and long, they go to the air here. Jordan Pearson trying to find Axel Null, but the Mustangs' Blake Christensen comes down with the INT. We're scoreless. Early in the second, Alma driving on the Mustang 4. It's Lane Wichorek muscling in for the end zone. A 6-0 lead after the PAT miss. Now Melman's next drive stalls, ready to punt, but a bad snap causes the Mustangs to turn the ball over deep in their own territory. And the Eagles would very much take advantage of the field position. Wichorek bulldozing his way in for his second score, and the Eagles are up 14-0 after the 2-point conversion. Now late in the half, Pepin Alma driving again, and who else but Wichorek? He scores his third TD. The Eagles will finish the shutout 21-0. PDC loses on the road, but Mauston gets 229 yards from Craig Armstrong as they win on the road. Now later in the show, we always have our Play of the Night segment, but it's going to work differently from here on out.
That's right. We want you to decide using our Real Time poll. We have a few nominees to choose from. Share your choice on the News 8000 app on your smart device, or go to news8000.com and make your voice heard. I'm going to sneak off set and get my vote in. I don't want you seeing, Ken.
Okay, all right. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. We have our Play of the Night, and it's Will Cambio with 51% of the vote. Well earned, taking a kickoff 86 yards all the way to the house as a part of a big Aquinas victory tonight.
Yeah, that's going to do it for this edition of the News 8 Now Highlight Zone. For our entire crew, I'm saying thanks for watching us. We'll see you next Friday.